presents A Night of Black and Red.
And we are live in downtown Hartford at the Bushnell Center for the Performing Arts for Hartford Hospital's signature fundraising event.
Tonight we celebrate a night of black and red. Good evening, everybody. I'm Rob Dibble.
And I'm Rebecca Stewart. Rob, can you believe this is the 29th year for the Black and Red?
That's incredible. 29 years.
I know. Now, for those of you who have been watching over the years, you know that this is more than a gala. This is more than a fundraiser. It really is a chance to look to the future, to celebrate the life-saving teams that make up the Digestive Health Center.
70 million people are affected by GI issues, so there's a tremendous need for this specialized center.
But of course, you're looking around and you're seeing all the people celebrating. We're raising money for this important event, this important cause. But people are having a grand time, and that's what we want them to do as we raise money. Time to check in, though, with Tina Verona, who is upstairs. And Tina, wow, it's loud up there. You look beautiful.
Thank you, Rebecca, and so do you. And really, the nearly 1,200 people up here, all dressed to the nines. And I'll tell you, you can really feel the energy and excitement in the air as guests are arriving for a truly magical evening of hope and inspiration, celebrating the successes of the Digestive Health Center and to raise money for the future with the goal to help people live their healthiest lives. Of course, guests will be treated to a spectacular performance featuring multi-platinum pop artist Andy Grammer. Definitely looking forward to that. We're going to have much more from here throughout the show, but for now, we're going to send it back to you, Rebecca.
And if you didn't love Andy Grammer before, you sure will now.
You bet.
It's such a special night.
Yeah, Andy Grammer is the musical performer tonight, but earlier he stopped by the Hartford Hospital to perform for some of their patients.
It was so emotional. It was incredibly special, and he took time out of his schedule to do this. We just want you to listen in. That was one of our patients. She gave me permission to use her name. That was Greta, who was dancing there. As many as 70 million people here in the United States deal with some sort of digestive disorder. But there's a tremendous range of different conditions. Anything from your esophagus, your stomach, your pancreas, liver, your intestines, all sorts of things.
Every year, more than 15 million people head to emergency departments because of GI issues. But there is a better way to manage these, a better way to treat people, the whole person, especially those of us who need more than one specialist.
And that's true for most of us. This is why the Digestive Health Center came to be. It is one entryway for all your digestive issues.
We have a great ambition. We will lead the country. We have the finest physicians, the best providers, the latest technology. We're organizing our services around our patients.
They are constantly thinking day and night about how to make a patient better.
There's a tremendous need in our state for a digestive health center, and we're responding.
The ability to coordinate and personalize that care through the continuum of the patient's experience is critical.
We're able to provide the care that's needed at various stages of people's lives.
From teaching, research, to innovation, from sickness to injury, and from wellness into prevention, we're building a center that's going to make a tremendous difference in people's lives.
And Hartford Healthcare is very much committed to innovation and new technology.
To look a patient in the eye and believe fully that there is nowhere else that they can go, that they would receive the type of care, not just quality of care, but personalized care that we can provide here at Hartford Healthcare is important.
When people do well, they recover, it's just a phenomenal feeling. And I think that's what keeps most of us going day in and day out.
Let's figure out a way to fix it. Let's figure out how to fight this. And that's what we can do really well here.
As part of the Digestive Health Center, our patients don't only get to see me, but they're really seeing our entire team.
It's not just the gastroenterology department, it's the surgeons, it's the pathologists, it's the radiologists, it's the nutritionists, it's the patient care navigators.
It's one of the best honors that I can have is to work as part of this team.
It's so inspiring to see the way our team takes care of their patients in the Digestive Health Center, the empathy they show, the talents that they have, the caring that they put forth for each and every patient. It's what makes Hartford Healthcare different.
The team is is remarkable. They are there for you. Now, a health crisis, of course, can stop you in your tracks. It is one of the reasons that the Digestive Health Center is so important. Many digestive issues are just really tricky to diagnose. We have one expert who often says when you save a life, you save a family. Definitely true here. This is one woman's story.
He's so positive, extremely caring, listens. He lets me be me.
It is a love story with an unlikely start.
I was wanting to date Michelle, and she was wanting to date Harry.
I really wanted to date another guy on the soccer team.
I was on the soccer team, and Harry was on the soccer team. And then she and Michelle were kind of friends, and so we would call each other at night.
While trying to set the other up with classmates, two teenagers, Cindy and Scott, would fall in love.
We just started talking on the phone. He asked me to homecoming, and we've been together since 1983.
It would be the beginning of a grand adventure. Scott Brown spent a decade teaching science before deciding to go to med school. And at his side every step of the way, Cindy. They created a remarkable life together, moving to Connecticut, where Scott was an emergency department physician at hospitals all across the state. They had two beautiful children, daughter Nicole, son Jared. Cindy went from running nursing homes to running their family in West Hartford. She also ran the PTO, two foundations. Life was busy. Life was good.
She really is just an entire heart and soul to our family.
And then something felt off.
And I started itching. My hands were itching, and so I kind of thought, okay, no big deal. Just my hands are itching. And then I would say the next 3 or 4 days, it was in my feet. What could be making me itching? Because I didn't have like a rash.
Days later, her husband noticed something far more troubling. He noticed she looked yellow.
She's sitting on the couch, and we're kind of talking. I look over, and I first kind of started to notice a jaundice. And it's one of those things where, painless jaundice is sort of an acronym for pancreatic cancer. And knowing the prognosis of something like that is really scary.
From there, things would move quickly. From his time in hospitals across the state, Scott knew very few places had the expertise needed for his wife. They chose Hartford Hospital. Cindy had a special procedure called an ERCP to examine the pancreas and the bile ducts, and that was when they found the mass. The diagnosis?
An ampullary adenocarcinoma.
Cindy remembers vividly going into surgery. It was their wedding anniversary. She would have the Whipple surgery that would save her life. A surgery so complex that Hartford Hospital is one of very few hospitals to even offer it.
And even going through med school, it was always kind of this surgery of legend kind of stuff, going through surgical rotations and stuff, and somebody said, oh my God, I got to see a Whipple. Everybody else is jealous because there's so much that goes on and it's so complex.
They trusted one group's expertise and skill, Dr. David Curtis and his team.
And it's all about that relationship of the ampulla, the head of the pancreas, the duodenum, and the bile duct. All of that anatomy comes together in one very small area, and it's wrapped around the mesenteric blood vessels.
So you're taking out parts of the stomach, parts of the pancreas, the gallbladder, rearranging the plumbing, basically, how the stomach and the liver empty into the intestines as well as the pancreas.
It was 10 hours and risky, only for the most capable hands. Even so, every moment was tense. Recovery would take weeks and weeks as the body adjusted to being rebuilt. Downtime wasn't exactly a familiar place for this very active mom.
I definitely think my kids bonded during the whole process. Even though there's a 7 years difference, I think they relied on each other.
Seeing my mom really needing help from someone who really gives to others, it was a different kind of experience to be the one giving to her.
And they took care of me.
More than 5 years have passed, an important milestone for a cancer survivor. Nicole is now 27 and a therapist and recalls the lessons from this trying time and how they shaped her today.
it's okay to talk about something that's scary or could have been. You know, the more we acknowledge that it did happen, the stronger we are because of it, because we were able to go through it together as a family.
That little 8th grader isn't so little these days.
Push through, determination will get through.
I think you look at life differently.
I'm always inspired by her strength, by how much she's able to do.
I didn't want to cry. I just think that you look at things totally different. The little things in life are important. It's not the big things that you think.
No one could have predicted what was in store for those 2 high school seniors who couldn't stop talking on the phone. And nearly 40 years later, they are ready for their next adventure. Together, they can tackle anything. She is such an inspiration. In fact, I just saw her there here tonight. Now, as you saw, this kind of cancer is tougher to diagnose early, but there is new hope. There are newer screening tests for people who are considered high risk, like endoscopic ultrasound, MRI. Science is truly making leaps and bounds. Now, there is, as we know, great screening for colon cancer.
Tonight we are urging you to get the message and get screened. And I was just recently screened, and it may have saved my life. Absolutely. So the CDC reports that 81% of people between 50 and 64 years old have never had a colonoscopy. That's crazy. That means there are more than 21 million people in the United States who need to schedule their colonoscopies right now.
Colorectal cancer, second leading cancer killer here in the country. It does not have to be. This is your wake-up call. A colonoscopy does more than detect. It can, as Rob just mentioned and did with you, it can save your life. It can prevent cancer. Easier than you think, Rob.
Absolutely. The prep is very easy, everything is very easy, and the doctors are tremendous.
Now, right now, we want you to take a look at these ads, and we hope you laugh a little bit, and it takes the mystery away. This is a mom reminding her son, texting him, get a colonoscopy. The real point here is that the prep shouldn't deter you, and Rob is here to tell you what?
No, the prep is fantastic. I dropped 5 pounds because of it, so it's actually very cool.
No excuses, folks. Just get it done. We are here joined by a true visionary, someone I call a mentor. He's an amazing person. Jeffrey Flachs has been attending the Black and Red for years, but it's your first year as president and CEO of Hartford Healthcare. Welcome.
Thank you.
You are a visionary. This was really your vision. This was a small sort of fundraising party. Why was it so important to you to make this so much more?
Because first of all, we're bringing great awareness to the work we do, particularly with digestive health. It's incredibly important. If we do this right, we'll be saving lives, impacting lives. I do believe it's the right thing to do, but there's a broader purpose today. And bringing people into the capital city, celebrating the great work, the culture of this region, the collegiality that exists among so many stakeholders. We want to bring this event here tonight to further the city's interest, to further the region's interests.
And you've always said that, you know, this area deserves the best of the best. You're recruiting. Rob was just telling me that with the ABCs, you're always recruiting.
Always recruiting. Always recruiting people.
It's about talent in many ways. We're blessed with world-class talent. We have the best physicians. We have incredible nurses, incredible staff members. It's what makes this organization work at the level we do. And in this region, we're amongst the finest in the world for digestive diseases. Very important.
Jeffrey Flachs, President and CEO, thank you so much. We're going to ask you to stay here for a little bit as we look all around us as what is happening and we take a look at this decade of transformation. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Tina, tell us what is happening up there.
Well, Rebecca, you're going to hear us remind you over and over tonight to schedule those colonoscopies. If you've been putting it off, consider this your wake-up call.
Thanksgiving Day 2017, Grisela Diaz had so much to be thankful for. Her health, her family, especially her 2-year-old grandson, Xavier. But by the next morning, Grisela woke up to a nightmare.
Wow, that day.
It began with stomach pain, cramping, and then blood in her stool.
I kind of panicked, and I'm thinking maybe it's my hemorrhoids, but they're really that bad. So I remember running into the room and telling my boyfriend, oh my God, I'm bleeding.
Grisela was hoping it was her hemorrhoids, but knew deep down she needed to address it. Grisela turned to expert Dr. Christina Johnson, a colorectal surgeon at Hartford Hospital.
I saw that she had very mild hemorrhoids and they weren't bleeding and there was blood coming from a little bit more proximal. I was very suspicious of something else.
To find out exactly where the blood was coming from, Dr. Johnson recommended Grisella have a colonoscopy right away.
The colonoscopy showed what looked like a cancer.
Pathology reports confirmed her suspicion.
This is the abnormality, but all this thickened area here shouldn't be there.
It was a cancerous lesion in the mid-rectum.
I wake up, Dr. Johnson pulls up the chair and tells me it's a lesion. And I looked at her like, huh? She says it's cancer. What did she just say to me? Just broke down. I said, I got cancer.
Saying the word cancer is a scary, scary word. Let's figure out a way to fix it. Let's figure out how to fight this. And that's what we can do really well here.
Grisella was now in the fight for her life.
I'm going to beat it. I'm going to fight. If I have to fight to the end, I'm going to fight to the end.
It also helped to have an entire team of experts by her side. First, they needed to determine whether the cancer had spread and at what stage it was at through a CAT scan.
It was what we call a stage 1 tumor, which means it was confined to the bowel wall itself.
It was the best case scenario. The cancer was caught early and hadn't spread. Therefore, no radiation, no chemotherapy. The cancer would be removed through robotic-assisted surgery.
It's one of our more complex surgeries that we do.
Complex in the sense they needed to preserve the bladder and sexual function while removing the tumor.
The robotic approach allows us to do that and to do it in one setting. So we go in, we take out the cancer, and we put it all back put the colon all back together again.
The surgery was a resounding success. Dr. Johnson delivered the good news to Grisella.
Oh, I cried that day. I hung up with Dr. Johnson. I was like, yes! Yes! I'm cancer-free! It was the best feeling.
So she's an amazing lady. She's been through a lot, and she's so strong.
She saved my life.
Dr. Johnson says Grisella really saved her own life by not waiting.
Listening to your body and knowing when something different's going on and letting other people know about it, that's the key.
But for Grisella, she never imagined she would be dealing with rectal cancer at just 45. At the time of her diagnosis, cancer guidelines to begin screening colonoscopies were age 50. Since then, they've been lowered to 45.
Will that make a difference for catching these patients that seem to be younger and younger when they're presenting with colorectal cancer?
It's a debate that continues, but for Grisella, 2 years after that life-altering day following Thanksgiving, Grisella today truly has so much to be thankful for.
Wow, I beat cancer.
And being here for her family.
I'm just thankful for everything. I get to see them grow up.
She is an incredible woman. Grisella told me her decision to share her story publicly was all about helping someone out there watching tonight who may be going through what she did and to hopefully be inspired to never give up and listen to your body. After all, early detection saves lives, and Grisella is certainly a living proof. Well, is it time for you to get a colonoscopy, or perhaps you've been putting it off? Well, now is the time to schedule a screening. Call 833-925-0096 or simply go online to hartfordhospital.org/colon. And speaking of inspiration and remarkable women, I am joined by a group from the Hartford Hospital Auxiliary, such tremendous women all behind me here. Shelley Dodd, I'm thrilled to have you join me, co-president. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Tina, for having us.
Absolutely. So you guys have raised money for a very unique item for the Digestive Health Center, the inflatable life-size colon. Tell me the impetus behind it and how you raised the money.
Well, as you know, the Auxiliary has a very rich history in supporting the hospital. And we hold annual fundraisers, specifically our golf tournament, which raises a significant amount of money, and it allows us to fund special projects that the hospital may not have been able to without our help. And so we were very pleased to fund the Super Colon as a means to support the gastrointestinal division of the Department of Medicine. And it brought community awareness to early screening and essentially prevention for colon cancer.
Well, Shelley, thank you, and to all the women for all the wonderful work you do, not only for the patients at Hartford Hospital, but for the community as well. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And that'll do it from here. Robin, Rebecca will send it back to you. Pretty neat stuff, huh?
Absolutely. A lot of folks are going to be enjoying that. Rob kept saying, come on.
Love the giant colon. Come on in.
Come on in. We're joined now by the president of the Hartford region, Hartford Hospital's own, Bimal Patel. Now, Bimal, you were speaking about how Hartford Hospital is built for this kind of specialized care. Tell us why that's so important.
Yes. Hartford Hospital is serving the community for 165 years.
Wow.
Year after year, it has got better and better. Today, nearly 7,000 people work at Hartford Hospital. We have proved ourselves not just for a year, 2 decades, and centuries. And that's the core of what Hartford Hospital is.
You often, and you're talking a little bit now, just about the compassion we see.
Oh, of course. So there is a science of healthcare, but then there is a care part of healthcare. And the individuals who serve our patient not only bring amazing world-class talent, clinical talent, but also amazing heart. I'll just give you an example of what just happened earlier today. Our team that works with the Andy Grammer, who's performing here tonight, asked him and brought him to the hospital, and Andy spoke and sang for our patients.
And they loved it.
And there was not a single dry eye in the room. It was unbelievable experience, and that's the heart we're talking about.
Heart and soul. Bimal Patel, president of Hartford Hospital. We are so thankful for all that you do to drive us. We're going to have you stay here right now. We're talking now about another division of the Digestive Health Center. Right now, the CDC reports as many as 1 in 3 Americans is considered obese, and that brings with it many health problems.
But more and more, Rebecca, people are choosing to do something about it. Weight loss surgery is an important part of the Digestive Health Center. Here is one man's story.
Walking the beat for Paul Listro became increasingly difficult as the years went by. He lost and gained the weight over and over again. And one day he realized he was heavier than he had ever been before.
And the weight gradually crept on. I mean, like 5 pounds a year, 10 pounds a year, till I got to the point where I was back to 306 pounds.
He decided enough was enough and attended a special event, a Wellness at West Farm seminar about weight loss surgery. It was a decision, he'll tell you, that changed his life.
I saw the flyers, and they were talking about weight loss surgery. And I said, you know, I've got, you know, it's right here, it's right at home, it's easy, I'm interested in it, you know, I've got to go attend this seminar.
That was just the beginning. There would be more classes, appointments, nutritionists, psychologists. He looked at all the options and chose to have the sleeve procedure. It is not a magic bullet, but a tool, he'll tell you, that helped him turn his life around.
I am not on cholesterol medicine. I no longer snore. My wife's like amazed. You don't snore anymore. I walk up the stairs. I'm not huffing and puffing. I'm not as concerned for diabetes.
1 year later, Paul is a new man who hopes to inspire others to take charge of their health.
Where do I start? I ran 5.5 miles this morning.
Such an inspiration. Now, there is some pretty remarkable research happening in the weight loss department as we are learning more about the minds, the actual brains of those who have had long-term success and those who struggle.
Hartford Hospital received a grant from NIH to study this.
It's pretty remarkable. Tina, we are going to check in with you. I understand you have the mayor with us.
I sure do, Rebecca. I am here, of course, with Hartford Mayor Luke Bronin. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Great to be with you.
Appreciate it. Absolutely. Well, Hartford Healthcare, of course, is proud to partner with the city of Hartford, the capital city, in bringing the MedTech Accelerator, just launched last year, really about revitalizing the capital city and healthcare, 2 very powerful forces.
No, healthcare in general is such an important economic driver, and over the last few years, we've worked really deliberately to strengthen our core industries. That's insurance and insurtech, advanced manufacturing, and also healthcare. And so Hartford Healthcare taking the lead in building this digital health accelerator, MedTech Accelerator, in partnership with one of the global leaders in business acceleration and a lot of local partners, including UConn and others, is a big addition contribution to that innovation ecosystem. You know, it's incredible for us to have such a world-class health institution here, but the fact that they are so focused on the economic development mission with us in partnership is a big deal.
Mayor Bronin, thank you so much for joining us. Looking forward to continuing the partnership with you.
Sounds good.
Thanks for being here. That'll do it from up here. Robin, Rebecca, we'll send it back to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor Bronin. Thank you, Tina. What's interesting about what Mayor Bronin was saying is how important it is to revitalize our region. So we have an amazing businessman with us right now, Hartford Region Board President Eric Zacks. It's a pleasure to have you with us again. What I'm really interested in is we were talking about the importance of being a corporate citizen and making sure that we're constantly giving back.
Well, Hartford Hospital is such an amazing organization, right? So the administrators, the staff, the doctors, everyone is so committed to a higher purpose. And everyone here, the corporate community, is so committed as well. So we're just trying to help improve the health care of this area, which does so much for the overall economy and just people's well-being.
And you do so much, just it's something you're so passionate about, always making sure to give back.
Well, we just try. I mean, we've been very fortunate, and you know, the most important thing is improving human life and just connecting with other people and trying to really make a difference. You know, we're on the earth for a very short time.
We are.
And the best we can do is to just do the best we can do.
Wise words. Eric Zacks, chair of the Hartford Hospital Board.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you so much. 70 million people right now are connected and affected by these kinds of issues. Part of the problem, why the center is so important, is that the symptoms can be confusing to patients.
Until they find the expertise that can help them and change their lives forever. This is Paulette's story.
For Paulette Beckford, it doesn't get much better than this. An afternoon in the kitchen, cooking and tasting a new recipe, a white bean chicken chili.
1 year later, it's like night and day.
Because for years, Paulette didn't cook. She wasn't able to eat much of anything. Spicy, salty, sweet, nothing went down.
And when I say I tried everything possible, every over-the-counter med, every prescription med, sleeping in the sitting up position.
Paulette suffered from echinacea. Her esophagus didn't work properly and food wasn't moving the way it was supposed to through the esophagus and into the stomach.
You know how like if something's stuck in your throat sometimes and you just kind of bang on your chest a little bit and it goes down? Imagining that never going down.
For years, she struggled until she found Dr. Michael Karasik.
She had really strong spasms of the esophagus. Those are very painful.
And he brought a new leading-edge treatment that just might help. It's called POEM, or peroral endoscopic myotomy.
We make a small incision about 1.5 centimeters in length in the esophagus. We cut the muscle along its length, and the muscles can no longer spasm, so she doesn't have the pain, and the muscle is no longer tight at the one that's preventing food from getting out, and so food can now drop into the stomach.
It works. Paulette wants to make sure that people who are struggling know help is available.
I could invite him over for dinner.
So special, so many patients.
Absolutely, and helping to turn the Digestive Health Center from a great idea into reality is the Director of Operations, a PA by training, Lindsay Meehan.
Now we're going to talk about colonoscopy. You helped make this really happen. We're so excited. Tell us why it's so important to build this center.
Here in Hartford Healthcare, we do amazing things on a daily basis, but what the Digestive Health Center is able to accomplish is taking the care, the expert care that we provide, and coordinating in a way that aligns with our vision of providing that personalized, coordinating care to our patients.
And you said that your own father sort of was so resistant to this, but all of these ads, all of this campaign helped turn it into reality, and you got him to do it.
So this year's campaign has specifically focused on the importance of colon cancer screening. Several years ago, my father told me he was extremely resistant to colonoscopy. He told me he'd actually rather die of colon cancer than undergo this very simple procedure. Through several phone calls, text messages, and urging, I'm his baby girl. I was able to convince him that this was not a big deal. He underwent a very successful colonoscopy, and through that was able to actually detect and remove an early colon cancer. Since that time, my brothers and I have actually undergone colonoscopy at an earlier age because of that diagnosis.
That is the best lesson.
God bless you for that.
Best lesson of the night. We want to thank you so much for being with us for this special night of Black and Red, celebrating the amazing work at Hartford Hospital. Truly a resource.
Thank you so much for being with us tonight, everybody. Good night.